Catching up with Jonathan Lucroy, brought to you by Quick Trip.
It felt longer, and maybe because it wasn't the early part didn't have much success, but it felt like you guys were gone for about a month there. How do you just kind of grind through it when maybe if you got out to a good start, it would have helped, but
We were gone probably half a month.
Yeah.
Good half a month. I think it was like a 12, 13-day road trip, something like that. Anytime you go on a road trip for that long, it definitely does grind on you, especially when you're playing some pretty tough teams. I mean, the Dodgers and Giants are two playoff caliber type teams, and obviously we had a hard time beating them. But it was one of those things where it's always nice to come back home and sleep in your own bed and just relax. So definitely glad to be back. But then again, we're leaving in 2 days, so it's a never-ending, grind, I guess.
Yeah. So the family's here now with you, right?
Yeah, they're here.
Talk about just having a life as opposed to a phone to hang on to. I mean, to have your family around you. What does that do for you as a human being, I guess, would be my question.
I mean, it's great. Yeah. I mean, we have a little dog too, and anytime they're around, I kind of have some sense of normalcy. Yeah. Come back into this life, I guess, is kind of crazy with travel and separation. But whenever you can spend a few days with your family and kind of act like a family, it's nice, and it's actually it's really refreshing for me. And it's difficult in that terms, and that sense where just dropped my mic here. Okay, you got me still. Right. Anyway, it's difficult in that sense of it, but other than that part of it, we're very blessed to be able to do this for a living. So it is what it is.
Hey, you don't exactly have a frat boy feel to you, but how much
does
your
look like
life?
a frat boy?
Not at all. Not a successful one. But the lifestyle that you have when you're living with a guy or without the family around, is there an adjustment to it that, oh man, I'm sure it's more pleasant in most ways to have the family around.
Yeah, it is. It's just, being able to have your wife, your daughter, and your dog, for me, I mean, it's just, it's different. I mean, there's obviously that connection you have with your family you can't have with anybody else, and especially your child, so, and my dog's like my child too. So it's like, it's one of those things where it's just, for me, I love that part of it.
But you could probably watch whatever show you wanted on TV instead of Octonauts or whatever.
I mean, Octonauts, Paw Patrol.
Yeah, Paw Patrol.
Big Paw Patrol guy. Yeah. It is what it is. It's just, it's probably a good thing, that spending time with my family, good quality time is more important than watching TV anyway.
Yeah. All right. We talked a little bit about this before, but are you glad you've missed Kershaw both times? You seem like you like a challenge. That's the ultimate challenge.
There are guys I enjoy facing, and there are very few of those guys that I enjoy facing in terms of a challenge. There's guys that I face that if I get out, I get mad because I don't feel like I should get out. Yeah. There are guys that I face that if I do get out, that I'm like, you know what, these guys are really good. If I get out, it's because they're good, not because I was bad. Yeah. And, Madison Bumgarner's one of them. I enjoy facing him. I told him that too. I said, I enjoy facing you, not because, dang it, I'm having problems here, guys. Sorry. Not because like he's a bad pitcher, because he's obviously not. Right. But because he's a challenge, and if you get a hit off him, that's one of the best in the game, and I actually had a home run off him, so I felt really good about myself that night. But Kershaw's one of those guys that you go up there and you face him and he gets you out. I mean, he's the guy's the best pitcher in the world. I mean, he's supposed to get you out. Yeah. So if you get a hit off him, it's kind of like, man, look, it gives you some. Some credibility, I guess, some self-worth, I guess you could say, when it comes to that.
Yeah, and when you can overcome somebody that maybe owned you the first couple of years. I mean, is there a pitcher who, man, I can't get this guy now, maybe, I've gotten a couple hits this year. Who are some guys that owned you for a while that you've gotten?
Owned me. I mean, everybody kind of owned me my first couple of years. That was pretty brutal. But after that, my third year in 2012, I kind of started, I got back to where I should be hitting, and I was able to be more competitive, and had some mechanical stuff going on. Anyway, I fixed them. But anyway, there's nobody I really think of that I've always felt owned by. Yeah. Just straight owned. I mean, Ardalis Chapman's one of those guys that he's had a lot of success against me, but I got him. Yeah. I had a game-winning homer off him. Yep. And so I kind of feel like it evened out on that in that sense. But after everybody else, I mean, there's nobody I can really think of that I'm just absolutely owned by.
Yeah. Let me ask you about just the short. I mean, you're on the road forever, and then you get home for 3 days here, and the team's still trying to figure out what it can accomplish this year. How tough is that? Is there more you can say, more you can do? I mean, everybody seemed pretty relaxed down there when I was walking through, but is there anything you guys can do to kind of plow through as you try and figure it out?
I mean, there's nothing more that you can do except. I know it's cliche and everybody says it, but it is the truth. I mean, there's nothing else to say about it. It's just you keep working hard and keep battling through it. I mean, it's one of those things that, you know, if I go out and I work my butt off every day and I do everything I can to be prepared for the game to the best of my ability and I still get beat, I can live with that.
Yeah.
You know, I can live with that. If I don't, if I'm lazy or I don't do everything that I can to be prepared both mentally and physically, and I get beat, then that's whenever I failed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's the way you got to look at it. You know, sometimes there's teams out there that are better.
Yeah.
You know, there's better teams, and that's just the reality of the situation. And they're deeper, they have more weapons, more pitching, better hitters overall, or whatever. You know, better defense. I mean, there's different categories of better, obviously, but you know, it's like I said, for me individually. You know, we're all very, very realistic about the situation, but that doesn't mean we're going to go out and just give it all up and whatever. I think you can see guys are still fighting, and that's what you want. You want fight, you know, because you're not always going to win, but as long as you fight for it, that's when, for me, that's whenever you really are winning or losing if you're fighting for it or not.
Yeah. Talking to you this year, there's a lot of things you seem to really love about baseball, but I think you like to be surprised by, because the game is so random in some ways, but it is all through work. Like if you looked at the numbers of your pitchers, your starting pitching staff, and saw the ERAs and saw how well they've done this year, you would probably be thinking, oh, Willie must have had a big year. If you didn't see the name, Garza must have come back early and done well, but you're looking at what you guys have put together with the pitching staff. How cool is it to watch that development? And there isn't one way they're doing it either way. It's like they're all doing what they do well.
Yeah, I mean, they are. It's you know, guys are pitching a lot better overall, and you know they're getting better. I think is what the most important thing is. We have, other than Garza, everybody on this pitching staff. Well, Garza and Junior Guerra, even though he's a rookie, here he's an older player.
Yeah.
I think that everybody's learning, and you know that's what the most important thing is. That these young guys, especially, are learning as they come along. And to me, that's the most important thing.
How are they doing it? I mean, is there something when you're watching them, because you have to watch each individual day what they do, are they working off each other a little bit, or do they have to stay to themselves because they're like Jimmy's a totally different pitcher than Junior? I mean, can you see why some of this is coming together and why the message seems to be getting through the starters?
I just think it's more consistent, you know, it's more about being consistent. I think the more experience you have playing this game, whether it's you're a pitcher or position player, I think, you know, the better you get, obviously, the more you learn, the less you have to do to be successful. And what I mean by that is that a lot of guys try to do too much, especially pitchers. And whenever you try to do too much, you end up hurting yourself.
Yeah.
You know, instead of just letting your ability and talent take over and just pitching to your ability and doing the best you can to keep it simple in terms of keeping the ball down, throwing strikes, stuff like that, which is the simplest way you can pitch, is keeping the ball down, throwing strikes. If you keep it simple that way, you're going to be successful. And I think guys are starting to grasp that concept of simpler is actually better. It really is.
It seems like the rumor mill's gone down a little bit for you. Is that a relief to you? I know you try not to pay attention to that stuff in terms of not rumors about you as a human being, but as trades.
There's probably some out there about that too.
I've spread some terrible ones about you on the internet, but is it kind of a relief at all in any way? When it's like, because there are teams, like the missing piece is a .299 on pace to hit 22 home run catcher. You know, there's a lot of teams that could use somebody like you, but it seems like the rumor mill's faded a little bit so far.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know.
Yeah.
Nobody knows, and it's one of those things that you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what the plan is. You don't know anything. It's just, you know, it's just business as usual. And really, I mean, it's, you know, if it wasn't such a big deal this year, I mean, there's been every other year, I'm sure, that guys have been close to being traded.
Yeah.
You know, I was almost traded in the minor leagues a few times. So it's like, you know, it's a part of the game. It's part of the business of the game. Whether it happens or not, I don't know. I don't know. No one knows except what their plan is, what they want to do. They only know that. I don't know that. So, it is. I'm gonna go out and play baseball and keep it simple. I know it's cliche, but that's the best answer I got for you.
Yeah,
I mean, really.
It's all right.
I mean, I don't know. There's nothing else to say. So I don't even worry about it.
Well, I need you here just because I have to sit at the office if you're not around.
Well,
so please stay. Is all I'm saying.
You got to talk to somebody because no one else will talk to you. So.
Well, I came out here and talked by myself, and security came.
Yeah,
so that's kind of rough.
I told him to.
Yeah. So what? And finally, as the races around the National League kind of are taking shape, and the Cubs seem like they're going to run away. Somebody's got to make a big run just to get back to it. Are you focused on any of that more now than early in the year when you had to grind through trying to figure out what kind of team you guys had, or do you watch? I mean, pay attention too much?
No, I don't care. No, it's we're fighting and we're battling our own stuff here.
Yeah.
So I don't worry about anybody else's. It's I don't even watch the playoffs.
Yeah.
So it's I mean it's when you play baseball throughout the year and you're not in the playoffs, I think overall you really don't care about them too much because guys are, they want to be there. They want to be in the playoffs. So watching it is like, oh man, I get so mad about it. Like I want to be there.
Yeah.
And so I just don't watch it. I go play with my daughter or something.
Yeah.
So I try to avoid all that.
We get back to Paw Patrol when that happens. Yeah.
Paw Patrol, way more entertaining. I don't get angry watching Paw Patrol. So it's frustrating. I mean, you want to be in the playoffs every year. As a player, that's what you want to do. So whenever you're, in the off season, when you go home and other teams are playing for another month and they're playing meaningful games and you're not, you're sitting at home on the couch.
Yeah.
It's frustrating. Yeah. It is, and it's frustrating. You put on a lot of hard work and sacrifice in the off season and spring training, and you just crush your body all year, and for what? For what? You don't get anything out of it except adding another year onto the old ledger, I guess. Yeah. And so you want to be competitive every year as a player, and it's I just try to avoid that in the off season whenever those playoff games come on. I'm like, no, I don't even care. I'm just gonna play with my family.
Catch more at my24milwaukee.com.